שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בשרו מיום ליום ישועתו.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to Shabbat morning services here at Central Synagogue. I am Rabbi Dan Ross, joined by my colleague downstairs, Cantor Dan Mutlu. And we are also joined by a congregation from around the world this morning. And we are so grateful to our technical team and our musical team and our maintenance staff for all the things that they do to make this wonderful morning worship possible. It is a beautiful spring morning. Made all the more beautiful by this morning's bat mitzvah, who's bringing some light and warmth into this room. Lizzie, please stand up. We're celebrating the bat mitzvah of Lizzie Strasser this morning. Give a wave so that everybody can see you and know who you are. All right, you can be seated. We'll have Lizzie on the bima with her family in just a few minutes. This is also a very special morning for me because this is my first time in the sanctuary with a B'nai Mitzvah family in over a year. And as that is a kind of Shechianu moment for all of you out there, I'll just do my little dance really quickly. And we are feeling the light and warmth of Shabbat this morning, and we continue in song. Cantor Mutlu, what's next?
We're going to continue with our call to worship, Baruch Hu, page 108. And if you're able, we'll ask you to rise.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la la. la 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 la, ya la 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 la. We'll continue now with the prayer right before Shema, and you can be seated. Baruch Ata Adonai, Abocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha. Ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'v'shochbecha u'kumecha וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. We continue now with our song of freedom, Mi Chamocha. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha neda b'kodesh, nora tehiloto. נורא תהילות וספלה שירה חדשה שיבחו גאולים לשמך צפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד
We now pause for a moment of silent reflection.
רצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי
Arrived at our service for the reading of Torah, and we welcome Lizzie and her family, her parents, Jen and Scott, and Sammy up to the bima, and Lizzie is going to kick us off.
The light of Torah shines forth.
Hold on 1 second. Do we have that mic?
Yeah, I think
It's on. I
Okay.
turned it on.
The light of Torah shines forth from
Give
Zion.
it, Lizzie, just 1 second.
We can definitely hear her over
Okay,
here.
you can hear. Okay,
Yep.
good.
So I
All
think
right,
we're
we
good.
can't hear her in the sanctuary. Sorry. Okay, Lizzie, you are good to go. Just want to be sure everybody can hear you because you're the
Okay.
star this morning.
The light of Torah shines forth from Zion. Adonai's teaching flow from Jerusalem. This troll has nurtured our people from Sinai to today. It teaches us love and justice, hope and peace.
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד, אחד אלוהינו, גדול אדוננו, קדוש שמו. גדלו לאדוני איתי, ונרוממה שמו יחדיו.
All right, Lizzie, you stand here on this bima with your family, but you don't just stand here with your family. I want you to turn around right now and face the ark. And I want you to imagine the Torah scrolls in that ark. And I want you to imagine past the Torah scrolls, exploding past Park Avenue, past the Hudson River, all the way back around and around and around again, all the way back to Mount Sinai. And I want you to think of the children of Israel standing at Mount Sinai, imagining that one day, dreaming that one day you, Lizzie Strasser, would come to the bima at Central Synagogue with your family to become bat mitzvah. And in recognizing you're taking the next link in that great chain of transmission that goes all the way back to that moment of revelation, your parents have a very special gift that they want to give to you this morning.
Okay. Lizzie, when we were given the opportunity to pass along a ritual object, the answer was obvious. I wore this tallis when I was 12, the first female in my family to become a bat mitzvah. At the time, I never could have imagined I'd be passing along as a parent, standing here with you, my very own daughter, becoming a bat mitzvah. As I pass this tallis to you, I'd mostly like you to think of it as a giant hug from me, but also a symbol of our family's values, our Jewish traditions, and our hopes and dreams for you.
Becoming a bar mitzvah is about taking a big step forward in your development as a responsible Jewish woman with your own set of values. In this regard, and in every respect, we are exceptionally proud of the person that you've become. We are proud of the way you treat other people. You're an amazingly loyal, kind, and inclusive friend. Your emotional awareness and willingness to empathize, your sense of humor, and your ability to laugh at yourself make people feel comfortable and at ease around you. Family also plays a central role in your life. You have a special bond with your sister Samantha, and even though you guys drive each other crazy, we know you always have each other's back. And we are also gratified by the close relationships you've built with your grandparents and the other members of your family. You are fiercely determined. It sounds so much better than stubborn, doesn't it? You know your own mind, and you're never afraid to think for yourself. When it counts, you almost always rise to the occasion, asking a great deal from yourself without needing as much of a push from us. We hope that you will continue to adhere to the values that are important to our family: empathy, respect, helping others, loyalty, intellectual curiosity, hard work, and tolerance. But above all, we want you to remain an independent thinker, to adhere to your own moral compass, and to decide for yourself what is meaningful and lead a life in a manner that feels right to you. Today is certainly a milestone, kind of like a graduation from early adulthood and all the responsibilities that come with it. And in case there's any doubt, that does include cleaning the kitchen after your last baking binge or your smoothie experiments. We know you're ready for all the exciting opportunities and challenges that lie ahead. Lizzie, we're incredibly proud of you, and we love you very much. Mazel tov.
What a beautiful, beautiful gift. Hope that talit, which so beautifully symbolizes receiving the mantle of Torah, is also a burden that isn't too heavy for you, Lizzie. And I know it's not, as your parents said, you are such a hard worker. And as we've seen with the microphone this morning, you are completely unflappable. So at this time, we're going to begin your Torah reading. And so we invite you to tell us what you're going to be reading from the Torah and then call upon your first aliyah.
My Torah portion is taken from the Parshat Bamidbar from the book of Numbers, chapter 3, verses 44 through chapter 4, verse 4. For my first aliyah, I call up upon my grandmother Jane, grandfather Pete, grandmother Sue, and grandfather Stan.
You may begin the blessing. Olam va'ed.
Hold on a second. We can't hear them. I want to make sure they can be heard. Is
All right,
is
let's
the microphone on?
Say hi really quickly. No, do we have them yet?
Does the microphone work?
Testing.
Kenner Mutlu?
No, I couldn't hear them yet.
Can you hear us?
Looking in the back. Good. Okay, just say hello one more time just to be sure.
Hello. You can hear us
Hello.
now?
Kenner Mutlu, you got him?
Yes, that's better.
All right, fantastic. All right, thank everyone for your patience
wanna
this
make sure they
morning.
can be heard.
And let's get started again. So just begin the blessing from the very beginning.
From the beginning. Baruch es Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתנו את תורתו, ברוך אתה אדוני, נותן התורה.
Amen.
Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, kaf et haleveim, tahad kol behor bivnei Yisrael, vehet behemat haleveim, tahad behem tam, vahayuli haleveim, ani Adonai, vehe peduyeh hashalosha, vehashivim, vehamatayim, ha'odfim, al haleveim, mi behor, b'nei Yisrael, ve'la Haftarah, hamesha, shekalim, la golgolet, beshekel, hakodesh tika, esrim gera, hashakel, venatata, hakesef, laharon, ulvanav, peduye, ha'odfim, bahem.
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu et Torah.
Nata, Bochenu, Baruch Atah Adonai, Noten al Torah.
Amen. And grandparents, you may return to your seats. Thank you so much. And thank you again for your patience with the microphones. We're so glad that you were able to be heard. That is essential. And Lizzie, now is the time. I think they're already there with you, but why don't you call up your second aliyah?
I call up upon my mother, Jen, father, Scott, and sister, Sammy.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayikach Moshe et kasef ha'pidyom, me'et ha'odfim, al peduyeh haleveim, me'et behor, b'nei Yisrael, lakaf et ha'kasef, hamisha v'shishim, ushlosh me'ot, la'elef b'shekel ha'kodesh, vayitein Moshe et kesef ha'peduyim, laharon uvanav, al pi Adonai, ha'asher siva Adonai,
Et Moshe.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata betohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
All right. Well, beautiful job on your first two aliyot, Lizzie. And we're going to ask your parents and sister to go sit back down in the congregation for a moment, because this moment is entirely yours, Lizzie. This is your third aliyah, the first time that you will be saying the blessings over the reading of Torah. And this is significant because you could not say these blessings unless you're a bat mitzvah. So many people point to this moment as the moment when you become bat mitzvah, and it fills us with incredible pride to be here standing with you today and marveling at your accomplishments. So as we call you up to the Torah, we call you by your Hebrew name. And just like Rabbi Ross said, just like your parents said, you're connected in this long line of gift giving, which culminates at this moment. The passing of traditions from generation to generation, and now it's in your hands, and you fill us with so much confidence and hope for the future. And of course, your Hebrew name is not just your Hebrew name. You are the daughter of your parents. We call their names as well. And we recall at this moment that you were named after relatives and ancestors that came before you, specifically your uncle Drew and your great-grandmother Ellie. So again, we call you up with this sense of pride, with this sense of hope, and for the very first time as a bat mitzvah. Ta'amod, 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 ha-bat mitzvah, Leah bat Binyamin Mishulamit.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe ve'Aaron lemor. Naso et Rosh b'nei Kehat mito b'nei Levi lemishpechotam levet avotam mi ben shaloshim shana v'amala ve'yad ben hamishim shana kol ba latzava la'asot moleha be'ohel moed zot avodad b'nei Kehat Ohel Moed Kodesh
HaKodashim. And now you can chant your blessing after.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher natan lanu Torat emet V'hayei olam nata betoheinu Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. You chanted absolutely perfectly, Lizzie. You did such a beautiful job, and I just want to let you know that Candy says she chants beautifully here on Facebook. So, and you've already done what I was going to ask you to do, to roll up that Torah, and now you did a great job, and now you can chant for us your Haftarah.
The Haftarah for this week is taken from the book of Hosea. I'll be reading from chapter 2, verses 1 through 5. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar b'inveim tovim v'ratzah v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch Atah Adonai Havoher Batorah Uvmoshe Avdo Uve'Israel Amo Uvinvieh Ha'emet V'Tzedek.
Amen.
V'haya mispar b'nei Yisrael kehol hayam asher lo imad Velo isafer v'haya bimkol asher yehamer lahem lo ami hatem yehamer lahem b'nei el hai v'nikbesu b'nei Yehuda uvnei Yisrael yakdav Vesamu lahehem Rosh ehad ve'alu miha'aretz ki gadol Yom Israel Imru lahehem ami ve'lahotehem Ruhama Rivu ve'imhem Rivu ki lo ishti V'anohi lo isha v'taser zenuneha mipaneha v'nafufeha mibein shadeha penashitena aruma v'hitzatiha keyom hevalda v'samtiha hamidbar v'shatiha keheretziyah ve'amiti ha'batzema.
Awesome job, Lizzie. And now that you've done such a beautiful job chanting the words of our ancestors, we invite you to offer your own words of Torah this morning.
My Torah portion, Bamidbar, is the first Torah portion in the book of Numbers. This scene opens up in the wilderness of Sinai, with God commanding Moses to take a census of the children of Israel. We read God's instructions about how the Jews will set up camp while traveling through the desert to arrive at the Promised Land. God commands that Moses and his brother Aaron count all men who are 20 years or older and who are able to bear arms, and to list the names according to the heads of the 12 households of Israel. I found it interesting that God wanted to count only the males in each tribe who were able to bear arms and were 20 or older. This is a contrast to the fact that all the children of Israel were traveling together, all ages and all genders. This dividing of people plays into some of the most troubling aspects of our society that we are still dealing with today. People so regularly treat other people like they don't count because of their race, gender, sexuality, and even more. This relates to how God wanted to only count the men in each tribe who could bear arms and were 20 or older. Sometimes people are ignored in spite of what they can provide, and we make assumptions about their capabilities because of stereotypes. One example is gender profiling, where some common stereotypes are men are strong and do all the work, and women can't do as good of a job as men. What if there were women among the children of Israel who could have made more of an impact in war than the men who were counted? It is definitely disappointing to us today that there were other members in the community like women who were not counted in the census. Yet, there is always a way we can understand this passage that is instructive for us today. Though only certain men were counted, what we learn from the counting of a specific group from among a larger group is that people in society have different roles and can help with their own specialties. I regularly seek out help from other people when I need it, and I know they are better at something than maybe I am. For instance, my teachers and classmates help me when I'm confused on an assignment. Also, my parents have helped me in many ways, including making sure I stay safe and respect and encourage others, among many other things. Personally, I've helped others by raising money for people who are less fortunate by having bake sales or donating money to shelters. On occasion, I even help my friends with personal problems at home by communicating with them or explaining homework to them to get a solution. In spite of the fact that my Torah portion seems to push aside people who the Torah thinks do not matter, we can also read it to teach us that everyone can help in their own way. Some of us can donate money or clothes. Some of us will be veterinarians or animal rights advocates. Some of us can help our friends with their math homework. How are you going to help today?
Wow, what an extraordinary Dvar Torah. Lizzie, it's a testament to one of the things that your parents said about you is how you like to take care of it. And actually, I'm going to invite your parents and Sammy back up to the bema right now to give you a hug for all that you've accomplished. They said that you love to take care of people, that you have such a high EQ. And I do want to give you a shout out from the Mala family who says hi. They say that they love you, and Mazel Tov, and Jennifer Phil also says hi. And so at this time, in the presence of your family, with all of the joy that we have at your accomplishment this morning, we offer you these traditional words of congratulations, and I want to see some dancing, okay?
Simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, yehelanu, 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 olechol Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, olechol Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, olechol Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, olechol Yisrael.
Awesome. So much love and so much joy up here on this bema right now. And I'm actually going to ask your family to return to their seats and remain standing. And I'm going to ask everyone to rise. And Lizzie, I'm going to ask you to join me at the ark for a blessing. Yeah.
taking your place in a resilient life. This is the day that you stood up to say, our tradition is mine. You have now held the Torah, forged a link to the past. You're the face of our future and the reason we last. ללכת בדרכיו ולשמור מצוותיו כל העמים. May you walk in God's ways and may all of your days be blessings. It is said we stood at Sinai, and today you know you're there. You're the promise of a people, a blessing and a prayer. It is said we stood at Sinai, and today you know you're there. You're the promise of a people, a blessing and a prayer. You're the promise of a people, a blessing and a prayer.
You may be seated. We conclude our service, as always, with a moment of memory, and I know that your family is feeling the presence this morning of these dear ones, your Uncle Andrew, Lizzie, and your great-grandparents, Elaine, Bernie, Ellie, Bob, Sam, Bella, Minnie, and Cy. And we can definitely feel them in this room, in this sanctuary, and even on this bima with us. We are also remembering as a Central Synagogue community this morning, Iris Gare, mother of Lawrence Rosenblum, Dan Goldman, husband of Fran, father of Seth, Jacqueline and Jill Stitzer, Melissa Epstein, mother of Deborah, Janie First, wife of John Friedman and mother of Elizabeth and Meredith, Edna Gamson, mother of Marilyn Ostro, Alex Hochberg, grandson of Barbara, Chaim David Kirsch, brother-in-law of Nan Rubenstein, Dan Levine, husband of Fanny, father of Bettina, Talia, Ruth, and Alexandra, Alan Michael Levy, husband of Beulah, father of Larry, Nicole, Danielle, and Anton, Dorothy Norris, mother of Ronald, Kenneth, Daniel, Paul, and Edward, Leon Poland, father of Sherry Aronson, Susan Silverman, mother of Robin and Debbie, Herbert Strauss, brother of Joyce Koplick, Shirley Werther, mother of Daniel and Susan, and Lila Zuckerman, mother of Laura Rothschild. If you are in the period of Shiva, the first 7 days following the passing of someone dear to you, we invite you to rise. If you are in the period of Shloshim, we invite you to rise. If you are in the period of Shana, the first year, we invite you to rise. If you are observing a yard site this Shabbat, we invite you to rise. Zichronam livracha. May their memories always be for a blessing. And we invite everyone to rise together and join those who are remembering this morning in the words of Mourner's Kaddish, which can be found on 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach lirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chaychon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'yizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya. Yibarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei kudusha brichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh Shalom B'Mamav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'Imru, Amen.
Well, we will conclude now with one last song of joy and celebration as we congratulate you, Lizzie, and your family. We'll sing together Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Benoma lefanav shira chadasha, benoma lefanav shira chadasha, benoma lefanav shira chadasha, benoma lefanav shira chadasha. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Benoma lefanav shira chadasha, benoma lefanav shira chadasha, benoma lefanav shira chadasha, benoma lefanav shira chadasha.
Shabbat Shalom and Mazel Tov.
Shabbat Shalom and Mazel Tov, Lizzie.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
לקראת שבת לכו ונחת, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם לסוכה,
סוף נעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בעורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד
אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We remain standing, turning to page 28 for our call to worship.
מי שברך אבותינו, מקור הברכה לאמותינו.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us,
Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. Lay me down, God, in peace, and raise me up to a world of living. Oh, safe from the storm, in the shelter of your shalom. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. If I could follow you and know all of your ways and wisdom, oh, you would keep me safe, and I'd always praise your name. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim.
מן המצר קראתיה ענני ומרחביה מן המצר קראתיה ענני ומרחביה עודך כי ענית אני ותהי לי לישועה עודך כי ענית אני ותהי לי לישועה. ענני, 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 answer me. ענני, 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 answer me. ענני, 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 answer me. ענני, 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 מן המצר קראתיה ענני ומרחביה מן המצר קראתיה ענני ומרחביה עודך כי ענית אני ותהי לי לישועה עודך כי ענית אני ותהי לי לישועה. ענני, 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 Aneni, 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 answer me. Aneni, aneni, aneni. I call out to you from a narrow place. Your answer came to me from a wide open space. My heart cried out for you wherever you are. Your hand reached out to me in Hamedsa. Aneni, 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 answer me. 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 Aneni, aneni, aneni. Min hametza.
Zimrat ya vayehili lishua ozi bezimrat ya vayehili lishua Zimrat ya vayehili lishua ozi bezimrat ya vayehili lishua Zimrat ya vayehili lishua ozi bezimrat ya
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to Shabbat morning services here at Central Synagogue. I am Rabbi Dan Ross, joined by my colleague, Cantor Dan Mutlu. We have the Dans this morning. Always such a pleasure to lead with you, Cantor Mutlu.
Oh my gosh, my namesake.
And we are also joined by our incredible musical team led by Dave Strickland, by our wonderful technical staff and our maintenance staff who make this service run so incredibly smoothly. And most importantly, on this beautiful spring morning, we are joined by this morning's bat mitzvah, Lucy. Lucy, please stand up and give everybody a wave, okay? Just give a wave, good. Everybody in the world can see you now. And we're, of course, joined by a congregation around the world here to celebrate with you. And we are going to begin our service this morning with a call to prayer. Please rise.
Seated now, we'll turn to page 114 for the prayer right before Shema. Baruch Ata Adonai, Habocher B'Amo Yisrael Be'ahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol vavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'ham v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'melechtecha b'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeruhu v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. We'll turn now to our Song of Freedom, Mi Chamocha, on page 122. Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai Mi Kamocha Neda B'Kodesh Norah Tehilot
עושה פלא נורא תהילות עושה פלא
We now pause for a moment of silent prayer to offer the words on the page or the words in your heart.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Nothing like a rockin' Oseh Shalom to get us ready for the Torah service, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me in the clapping. It was so much fun. And now we turn our attention to this morning's bat mitzvah. Lucy, you may begin the Torah service for us.
The light of Torah shines forth from Zion. Adonai's teaching flow from Jerusalem. This scroll has nurtured our people from Sinai to today. It teaches us love and justice, hope and peace.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadol Adonai iti, ונרוממה שמו יחדיו.
Got to make sure I have the mic on. Okay, at this time, I am going to invite up the generations of Lucy's family to join us on the bima, starting with grandparents right up here. And Eddie, you can just hang right there for our Torah pass. Okay, and Lucy, you're going to stand right here. Your parents are going to be right there. And then I'm just going to ask you, no, on this side, right over here. There, right over there, yep. Okay. Okay, there we go, all right. Okay, so, all right. Lucy, look down. Look at all of these people, these generations of your family lined up. And keep taking in this sight. This is a sight to behold. This is such a special moment for your family because guess what? All of these folks have been dreaming of this moment since before you were born. And I want you to imagine past your grandfather, past 55th Street, I think 54th Street, all the way down, all the way back around, this wall exploding, taking us all the way back to Mount Sinai, where the children of Israel gathered to receive this, our people's greatest treasure, their greatest gift. And those people too imagined one day that you, Lucy, would stand on this bima to become bat mitzvah. And in recognition of that great chain of transmission of the Torah from generation to generation to generation, I am now going to pass the Torah down to you.
You're a gift and you're a blessing. You are history in song. You are hope and you are healing. You are learning to be strong. L'dor vador nagigot lecha. L'dor vador we protect this chain. From generation to generation. L'dor vador these lips will praise your name.
What a beautiful moment to gather the generations of your family on this bima together. And at this time, Lucy, I invite you to tell us what you're going to be reading from the Torah this morning and to call up your first aliyah.
My Torah portion is taken from Parsha Bamidbar from the book of Numbers, chapter 3, verses 1 through 10. For my first aliyah, I call upon my grandparents, Nina and Larry Epstein, and Marvin and Irene Reichbach.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Amen.
Amen. Vele toldot Aharon uMoshe beyom diber Adonai et Moshe behar Sinai. Vele shemot bnei Aharon havehor Nadav va'avihu Elazar ve'itamar. Eile shemot bnei Aharon hakohanim hameshuchim asher milei adam lehahen. Vayamot Nadav va'avichu livnei Adonai behaklivam ish zara livnei Adonai bamidbar Sinai uvanim lo hayu lahen vayachachen Elazar ve'itamar al penei Aharon avihem.
Asher natamanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'chayenu Baruch atah Adonai notei Torah.
Amen. Now your grandparents can return to their seats. Thank you so much. Yep, you can just return to your seats. And Lucy, you can call upon your second aliyah, although I think they're already there with you.
For my second aliyah, I call upon my mom and dad, Lauren and Brian.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amin v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayidaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Hakrev et matei Levi. Vaha'amadta oto. Lifnei Aharon hakohen. Veshirtu oto. Veshamru et mishmerto. Ved mishmeret kol hayada lifnei ohel moed lavod et avodat hamishkan.
Baruch Hu atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Lucy, go ahead and give your parents a hug, and we're going to ask them to sit in their seats in the congregation because this is your very, very special moment. This is your third aliyah coming up, your very, very own, which we will call you up by your Hebrew name. And you might think to yourself, well, I'm already up here. Why do you have to call me up? Well, you haven't chanted this blessing. And this blessing is very, very special because only a bat mitzvah can chant this blessing. And when we call you up by your Hebrew name. And your Hebrew name is Chana, which means gracious and compassionate. And you truly live up to your name. You are such a kind person. You are very gracious. You're also extremely talented
And your beautiful chanting, I know, is lighting up the Facebook comments, and all of us down here have so enjoyed listening to you chant your first 2 aliyot. And you know, with the gift of beautiful chanting and a beautiful voice is that responsibility to share it, and you share it so graciously and beautifully. So we call you up now for the very first time as a bat mitzvah by your Hebrew name. Ta'amod, 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 ha-bat mitzvah, Chana bat Baruch v'Leah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Veshameru et kol kelei ohel moed, ved mishmeret bnei Israel, la'avod et avodat hamishkan, venatata et halevim laharon ulvanav, netunim hema, lo meyet bnei Israel, ved Aharon ved banav tifkod veshamru et kehunatam, vehazah hakerev yumat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And Lucy, now that you've so beautifully chanted your Torah portion, you can give that Torah scroll a little bit of a close so you have a little bit more space up there. And now you can go ahead and chant for us your Haftarah reading.
The Haftarah for this week is taken from the book of Hosea. I will be reading from chapter 2, verses 18 through 22. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar b'nviim tovim, v'ratzah v'divrehem hane'emarim b'nemet. Baruch atah Adonai haboher batorah u'Moshe avdo u'V'Yisrael amo u'v'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek.
Amen.
Vehaya vayom hahu neom Adonai tikrei ishi velo tikrei li od bali vahasiroti et shemod habe'alim mipiha velo yizacheru od bihishmam vecharati lahem berit bayom hahu im chayat hasadeh ve'imov hashamayim ve'remes ha'adama ve'keshet ve'cherev u'myahama eshbor min ha'aretz ve'hishkavtim laveta ve'erastich li le'olam ve'erastich li בצדק ובמשפט, וחסד וברחמים, וארסתיך לי באמונה, וידע את אדוני.
All right, and Lucy, I just want to tell you that we are hearing from Bill Firestone, who says you have an amazing voice. Phyllis Litt says, beautiful, Lucy. Marjorie Cohen says, beautiful chanting, and Mazel Tov. And the Schlechters are just totally blowing up with the Facebook comments right now and have lots of nice things to say of you. Gracious, beautiful chanting. So just want to let you know that you have wowed the world this morning with your chanting of the words of our ancestors. And now I know that you have an incredible Dvar Torah to offer this community this morning.
In the dust-colored clouds and bright blue sky, God spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tent of meeting, asking him to conduct a census in order to gather all the male fighters from their ancestral homes, ages 20 and older. In total, Aaron and Moses gathered over 600,000 male Israelite fighters who could bear arms. Each of the tribes was to be assigned its own camp and to receive a time to march. My Torah portion provides an essential understanding of how the children of Israel began to organize to defend themselves. While reading my Torah portion and learning about how God spoke to Moses about protecting the Jewish people, I made the connection to when I visited Israel in 2018 for my cousin Luke's bar mitzvah and learned firsthand about the Israeli army. We traveled to the Golan Heights and Israel's border with Syria, Lebanon, and Egypt. We even traveled to Jordan to visit the ancient city of Petra. It was like being in an Indiana Jones movie, The Last Crusade, but family style. While on the border of Lebanon and Israel, we met a group of male IDF soldiers who were part of Israel's frontline national defense. Our tour guide explained to us that these young men hadn't seen family or friends in a long time. We brought them food and drinks, which lit up their eyes as they sang and prayed for us. My family was so grateful to have met them. Meeting the soldiers was very impactful on our lives because our family had never experienced anything like this before, and it made me realize how important soldiers' roles are in protecting Israel and, at that moment, our own lives. To this day, I am still struck by the fact that Israel and its neighbors want to live peacefully, but sometimes both sides find it very hard to accomplish this goal. We were all reminded of this fact just this week with the violence in Israel and Palestine. I pray that both sides can find a peaceful resolution quickly and that leaders do what is right for the people. So much has changed in the world since the time of my Torah portion. For example, the Torah only counts men over the age of 20 to join the army. In Israel today, all of its citizens starting at age 18 must serve in its defense. Israel's example teaches us that everyone deserves a chance to protect and serve their country, no matter their race, gender, sexuality, or any other identity. There is strength in this diversity, not just in the increased numbers, but also because it emphasizes the equality of all people in society and their ability to contribute. As a part of the next generation, I am responsible for the future and what happens next in the world. Our actions and choices are forming a path leading up to our futures. I know that certain choices have lasting effects on our lives. My Papa Marvin, who is a captain in the U.S. Army, has told me how impactful that was on his life. I'm very proud of my Papa for serving in the Army. When I was little, Papa loved to make up stories, but his story is real, and he told me that being a member of the armed forces were some of his best years and moments in his life. This Torah portion and my unique experience in Israel have taught me the importance of sacrifice people make in protecting our cities and our country so that we can go to school and live a safe, free life. In thinking about my Torah portion, our family's meeting with the IDF soldiers on the Israeli-Lebanon border, and the very tragic events unfolding in Israel and Gaza this week, I realize that I have much to learn about the complexities of peace and war. These are not easy topics, but ones that we have to commit ourselves to studying if we are going to find a resolution. Interpreting my Torah portion and seeing world events unfold in real time has showed me that we still have great challenges in front of us, but I think we will be able to overcome any obstacle. In closing, I would like to use this time to offer everyone in my life all my gratitude and thanks, especially the citizens of both Israel and Palestine, and we pray for the day when we no longer have to study war. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Wow. And at this time, I'm going to invite your parents and your sister back up to the bima to give you a big hug because you have done such a beautiful job, of course, wowing us with your chanting. I just want to give you a few shout outs. Melissa Teagan says, so beautifully said, Lucy. Dahlia Gold says, Lucy, Abby says you're a rock star. You're doing an awesome job. Love from the Glusker Gold family. And I just have to say that you told me that you want to be a pediatrician, and I do think that you would make a wonderful pediatrician because of your sensitivity and intellect, but I also have to say that your wisdom that you just illustrated here on this bima with those incredible words of Torah indicates, I don't know if you've heard, but we have a mayoral election coming up. So I'd like to formally nominate you this morning. Just consider it, because we need leaders like you. And your parents told me that you are a natural leader, and that is so obvious to everyone who is here with us this morning. And in recognition of all that you have done to blow us away, we are now going to offer you these traditional words of congratulations, and I want to see a dancing diamond, okay? So...
Simen top, mazel top, simen top, mazel top, simen top, mazel top, simen top, Yehelanu, 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 O lechol Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, O lechol Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, ulechol Yisrael.
All right, Lucia, now I'm going to ask your parents and your family to return to their seats, and I am going to invite you up to the ark at this time to offer you a blessing, and I'm going to invite everyone to please rise.
To a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place you do not know. Lechi lach, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi lach. Lechi lach. And I shall make your name great. Lech lecha. And all shall praise your name. Lechi lach, to the place that I will show you. Lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim, lechi lach. You shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing. Lechi lach.
Be seated. As always, we conclude our services with a moment of memory. And this morning, Lucy, your family is feeling the presence, if not in body, but surely in spirit, of these dear ones to you, your great aunt Nancy, your great uncle Ira, and your great grandparents Lila, Joe, Florence, Louis, Miriam, William, Carl, and Anna. They're all here with us this morning for sure, and smiling with them. The Central Synagogue community is also mourning the passing in recent days of Iris Gare, mother of Lawrence Rosenblum, Dan Goldman, husband of Fran, father of Seth, Jacqueline and Jill Stitzer, Alyssa Epstein, mother of Deborah, Janie Furse, wife of John Friedman and mother of Elizabeth and Meredith, Edna Gamzin, mother of Marilyn Ostro, Alex Hochberg, grandson of Barbara, Chaim David Kirsch, brother-in-law of Nan Rubenstein, Dan Levine, husband of Fanny, father of Bettina, Talia, Ruth, and Alexandra, Alan Michael Levy, husband of Beulah, father of Larry, Nicole, Daniel, and Anton, Dorothy Norris, mother of Ronald, Kenneth, Daniel, Paul, and Edward, Leon Poland, father of Sherry Aronson, Susan Silverman, mother of Robin and Debbie, Herbert Strauss, brother of Joyce Koplik, Shirley Werther, mother of Daniel and Susan, and Lila Zuckerman, mother of Laura Rothschild. If you are in the period of Shiva today, we invite you to rise at this time. If you are in the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days, we invite you to rise at this time. If you are in the period of Shana, the first year, we invite you to rise at this time. Or if you're observing a yahrzeit this Shabbat, we invite you to rise at this time. Zichronam livracha. May their memories ever be for a blessing. We rise together as we offer the eternal words of Mourner's Kaddish, which can be found on page 294 in your prayer books. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah, be'alma divrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chaychon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei t'chol beit Yisrael, b'agalat u'mizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya, Yibarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kudusha brichu leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru amen Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen Oseh shalom mimramav huya aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael Amen.
We're going to close with one last song of joy, of light, and especially of celebration and congratulations to your family. Lucy, what a beautiful, beautiful morning, and thank you for leading us so strongly. We'll sing together La Yehudim. La Yehudim, Hayta Ora, Hayta Ora. Besimcha v'sason v'ikar La Yehudim hayta ora besimcha v'sason v'ikar Ken tiye lanu
Shabbat Shalom and Mazel Tov, Lucy.
שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי וגואלי. אדוני צורי וגואלי. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God. My rock, and my redeemer. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Olchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shuvem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh
Hava, Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. 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 Hava, Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Okay, you're actually in here, so Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. This is my first morning of B'nai Mitzvah back in the sanctuary, so it's so nice to actually hear your voices, and it's really just such a treat to be able to celebrate with you. I'm Rabbi Dan Ross. I'm joined downstairs by the other Dan on our clergy team, Cantor Dan Mutlu, and we are also joined by Dave Strickland, our music director, and by our amazing technical and maintenance team and event staff that makes this service run so smoothly, and we expressed our incredible gratitude to all of them. And most importantly, on this beautiful May morning, we are joined by our bat mitzvah. Emma, please stand up. And just give everybody a wave, turn around, wave, because we're joined by a virtual congregation from around the world who are here to celebrate not just with your family and friends and loved ones who are in this room, but also with the whole of the Jewish people. You could take a seat now. And we are going to continue our service this morning with our call to prayer.
We're on page 108, and you can rise.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Page 114.
Baruch Ata Adonai, Habocher B'amo Yisrael Be'ahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
And you may be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We'll continue now with our song of freedom, Micha Mocha, page 122.
Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai Micha Mocha Nedar Ba'kodesh Nora Tehilot Osei Feleh Nora Tehilot Osei Feleh Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai Micha Mocha Nedar Ba'kodesh Nora Tehilot Osei Feleh Nora Tehilot Osei Feleh Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai Micha Mocha Nedar Ba'kodesh Nora Tehilot Osei Feleh Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai Micha Mocha Nedar Ba'kodesh Nora Tehilot Osei Feleh Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai 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 Mi תפלה נורא תהילות עושה פלה.
We now pause for a moment of silent prayer. You may read the words on the page or offer the words of your heart.
רצונים רפים רפי והגיון ליבי לפניך יהיו לרצונים רפים רפי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי יהיו לרצונים רפים רפי והגיון ליבי לפניך יהיו לרצונים רפים רפי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי.
We've now arrived at the moment that we've all been waiting for, our service for the reading of Torah, and Emma and her family have now joined us on the bima, and Emma is going to kick it off for us.
The light of Torah shines forth from Zion. Adonai's teaching flow from Jerusalem. This scroll has nurtured our people from Sinai to today. It teaches us love and justice, hope and peace.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Gadol Adonai Hiti Onerom Mema Shemo Yachdav.
All right, and at this time, Emma, I'm going to ask you to put on your mask really quickly and your parents to put on their masks, and I'm going to invite up the generations of your family. So grandparents, please put on your masks and come on up and line up right here in front of these chairs. And Emma, I want you right here, front and center, next to your parents who love you so much. All right. Okay. All right. Now, Emma, I want you to take a look down this line. And look at all of these people who love you so much and have been dreaming about this moment since before you were born. Wow, you are really taking that in, I can tell. And I want you to imagine that this line keeps going past 54th Street and on and on and on and on and on, all the way back to Mount Sinai, when the children of Israel gathered at the foot of the mountain to receive this scroll. And that those people also imagined, dreamed that one day you, Emma Newgarden, would come here to the Bima at Central Synagogue to become bat mitzvah. And in recognition of that great chain of transmission and you taking your place as the next link in that chain, we're now going to pass this Torah down through your family to you.
You're a gift, and you're a blessing. You are history in song. You are hope, and you are healing. You are learning to be strong. L'Tov Adon Nagid God Lecha. L'Tov Adon, we protect this chain from generation to generation. L'Tov Adon, these lips will praise your name.
First Torah passes in over a year too, so that's really special to have all four grandparents. We'd never take that for granted to be here with a family and to recognize this incredible moment. And Emma, now is the time for you to tell us what you're going to be reading from for the Torah this morning and to call up your first aliyah.
Is taken from Parshat Bamidbar from the book of Numbers, chapter 3, verse 44 to chapter 4, verse 4. For my first aliyah, I call upon my grandpa Elliot, grandma Diane, Poppy Jack, and Nanny Charlotte.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Vayidaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Kach et halevim, tahat kol behor bivnei Yisrael, ve'et behemat halvim, tahat behentam, ve'hayu li halvim, ani Adonai. Ve'et peduei hashlosha, ve'hashivim, v'hamatayim, ha'odvim al halvim, mebechor b'nei Yisrael. Ve'lakachta, Hameshet, shekelim, lagogolet, beshekel, hakodesh tikach, isrim gerah hashakel. Venatata hakesef, laharon, u'alanav, peduyeh, ha'odfim, bahem.
Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'nateinu olam natav Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And now at this time, I'm going to ask Emma's grandparents to return to their seats. Thank you so much for joining us up here for the first aliyah. And Emma, I think they're already up there with you, but why don't you just tell us who's up there with you for your second aliyah?
For my second aliyah, I call upon my mom, Lisa, my dad, Jay, and my two older sisters, Sophie and Jordan.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
ויקח משה את כסף הפדיון מאת העודפים על פדויי הלווים מאת בכור בני ישראל לקח את הכסף 65 מאיות באלף בשקל הקודש ויתן משה את כסף הפדויים לאהרון ובניו על פי אדוני כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'yeh olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Wow, Emma, that was beautiful. You can give your sisters and your parents a hug because we're going to have them sit in their seats in the congregation right now because this moment is a very special moment that is all your own. We are now going to call you up to the Torah for your very own aliyah. And when we were meeting together, I know that we talked about when that moment was that you become bat mitzvah. And you said that when you were reading from the Torah, it felt like you had become bat mitzvah. And I totally agree, and tradition agrees, because you can't say this blessing, the Baruch Hu blessing, without becoming bat mitzvah first. So here you are at this very special moment, and we call you up to the Torah by your Hebrew name. And your Hebrew name in it already has the link to the generation that comes before you, because this is a gift, this Torah. This is a gift that's been passed down from generation to generation. And we acknowledge at this moment that your Hebrew name, Itka, comes from your great-grandma Edith, which is such a beautiful, beautiful thing. So when you chant this Torah, when you teach us Torah, a little bit of her goodness and wisdom comes out as well. So it's our honor today to call you up to the Torah for the very first time as a bat mitzvah. Tamod, 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 habat mitzvah, Yitka bat Yitzchak Moshe ve'Elisheva.
Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe ve'Aharon lemor. Naso et rosh b'nei Kehat mitoch b'nei Levi lemishpechotam levet avotam miben shelishim shana v'amala va'ad ben hamishim shana kol ba latava la'asot balaha be'ohel moed. Zot avodat b'nei Kehat be'ohel moed kodesh hakodashim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Wow, wow, wow. You did such a fabulous job with your chanting. And right now, what I'm going to ask you to do is you've got that binder, but give that Torah scroll just a little roll up so you have a little bit more space up there. You're doing great. And you are eager, I know, to get to your Haftarah reading. So just take that binder up and tell us what you're going to be reading.
The Haftarah for this week is taken from the book of Hosea. I will be reading from chapter 2, verses 1 to 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar binvi'im tovim veratza bedivrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai haboher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'invi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek.
Amen.
V'haya mispar b'nei Yisrael keho hayam asher lo imad velo yisafer. V'haya bimkom asher yamer lahem lo ami atem yamer lahem b'nei Yochai. V'nikbetzu b'nei Yehuda uv'b'nei Yisrael yachdav. V'samu lahem rosh echad ve'elu min haaretz ki gadol yom Yisrael. Imru lachechem ami ve'lachotechem ruchama. Rivu v'imechem rivu ki hi lo ishti ve'anochi lo isha. V'taser zenuneha mipaneha ve'na'afufeha mibein shadeha. Peinafshi teina arima v'higit saktiha kiyam hivalada v'shamtiha chamid bar v'shatiha ke'eretz tzia v'hamitiha ba'tzama. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzor kol haolamim tzadik bechol hadarot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer ve'oseh hamdaber kayem shekol devarav emet v'tzedek al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha ve'limnucha lechavod ultifaret. Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umvarchi otach yitbarach simcha befi kol hai tamid leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Hu Shemo.
Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
And Emma, now that you've so beautifully chanted the words of our ancestors, we invite you to offer us your own words of Torah this morning.
My Torah portion, Midbar, is the first Torah portion in the book of Numbers. It begins with God commanding Moses to complete a census of the children of Israel. In the section of the Torah portion that I chanted, God instructs Moses to take a separate census of two subgroups, of the Israelites, the Levites, and the Kohathites. This is because the Levites and the Kohathites have the responsibility to maintain the holiest objects of the Jewish people. When I first read my Torah portion, I wondered, if God is so powerful and all-knowing, why does God need Moses to take a lead on the census? Couldn't God just count the people from the sky without Moses having to go tent to tent? At first, I thought that God commanding Moses to take the census because God was lazy. Perhaps God thought, I am God, I should not have to do the dirty work. Just like in present day, people with power often make other people do things when they could just do it themselves. I mean, is it really that hard to count a bunch of people after creating the world? Then I thought about it some more, and I realized that God might actually deserve a little bit more credit, because God is asking Moses for help. The idea that God would ask Moses for help offers us two important teachings. First, if even God can ask for help, then anyone can ask. Even if everyone thinks you are so powerful and capable as we think of God, it is still okay to ask for help. It is important to recognize when you are taking on too much and need to be able to ask for assistance. For example, a month ago, I was confused about a project that I was working on in science. I was making greenhouses and doing a video of how they worked. A little hesitant, I made a meeting with my teacher so she could clarify the instructions. After our meeting, I immediately felt better because when I had asked for help, I better understood what I was supposed to do. Had I been too fearful to reach out, I might have not done the assignment correctly. The second thing that God asking Moses for help teaches us is that when we ask for help, we make the person we are asking feel good and appreciated. Think about how Moses must have felt when God asked him for help. God asked Moses for help because God trusts him. When you reach out to people to ask for help, you are showing that you believe they're willing to help you and have your best interests at heart. For example, One time, my soccer coach asked me to lead practice in his place. That made me feel like he trusted me and that he thought I was a leader. When you ask for help, you validate someone's knowledge and character as they were able to impact your life in a positive manner. My Torah portion teaches us that although times have changed, basic human nature has not. From time to time, we will all need to ask for help. And when we do, the people we ask will feel good about us asking them. As I get older, hopefully I will always remember to ask for help and to feel good about myself when people ask me. God created many men, not just one man alone. If we all work together to aid and assist our individual needs, it will not only be beneficial to ourselves, but also to the Jewish community and society as a whole. I would like to take this moment and thank Central Synagogue clergy and Rabbi Ross for helping me prepare for this special day, Cantor Mutlu for listening to me chant Hebrew, and Peter Young, who has been an amazing Hebrew tutor. To Jordan and Sophie, thank you for not yelling at me as I chant Torah around the house. And to my parents, thank you for being my biggest supporters. To all of you joining me on Zoom, I would like to thank you. I wish that you could be in person with me on my special day. To everyone, I thank you for all that you've done in helping me on my journey to becoming a bat mitzvah.
Wow. Emma, you told me that at home you have a Lego Hogwarts. Is that right? Yeah? And I can tell that you are surely an occupant of Gryffindor Tower. And I'm trying to decide which character you're more like, because on the one hand, I know how brilliant you are and how much you love stuffed animals, which would lead me to think that you're like Hermione. But on the other hand, I know that you're like a good soccer player and a great athlete. And so that means that, like, you know, Ginny Weasley was such a good Quidditch player. She became a professional Quidditch player, and she was also just fierce and loyal. So you've just got this wonderful Hermione Ginny quality about you. And I'm going to invite your family back up because you've done such an incredible job this morning. Both chanting Torah and offering us this really wise and rich message that we, can always benefit to hear about how important it is to ask for help. And in recognition of your incredible accomplishments, we are now everybody should rise, and we're going to offer these traditional words of congratulations. And we're going to see some dancing.
Simin tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simin tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simin tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simin tov. Yehelanu, 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 ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulechol Yisrael.
Beautiful. And I'm going to ask your family to return to their seats and you to grab your mask really quickly. And everybody should actually remain standing as I open the ark to offer Emma a blessing.
Here with you beside me, I feel so greatly blessed. This moment means much more than I can say. A time to be together, a time for us to rest. Shabbat is here, the time has come to celebrate the day. So I hold you close, my hands upon your head. And from me to you, my child, these words are said. Yesimcha Elohim Ke'Ephraim B'chi Menashe. May God give you life and strength like Joseph's sons. Yesimech Elohim Kesara Rivka Rachel V'Leah. May God make you like a mother's like our blessed ones. May God make you like our parents, like our blessed ones.
You may be seated. So proud of you, Emma. We conclude our service, as always, by remembering those who are no longer with us in body, but who are eternally with us in spirit. And Emma, I know that we are thinking today of your great-grandfather Philip, your great-grandmother Edith, your great-grandfather Larry, your Umi Sophie, your Appa Arthur, your Umi Henny, and your Appa Eric. The Central Synagogue community is mourning the passing in recent days of Iris Gare, mother of Lawrence Rosenblum, Dan Goldman, husband of Fran, father of Seth, Jacqueline, and Jill Stitzer, Alyssa Epstein, mother of Deborah, Janie Furse, wife of John Friedman and mother of Elizabeth and Meredith, Edna Gamzin, mother of Marilyn Ostro, Alex Hochberg, grandson of Barbara, Chaim David Kirsch, brother-in-law of Nan Rubenstein, Dan Levine, husband of Fanny, father of Bettina, Talia, Ruth, and Alexandra, Alan Michael Levy, husband of Beulah, father of Larry, Nicole, Danielle, and Anton, Dorothy Norris, mother of Ronald, Kenneth, Daniel, Paul, and Edward, Leon Poland, father of Sherry Aronson, Susan Silverman, mother of Robin and Debbie, Herbert Strauss, brother of Joyce Koplik, Shirley Werther, mother of Daniel and Susan, and Lila Zuckerman, mother of Laura Rothschild. If you are in the period of Shiva, the first 7 days following the passing of someone dear to you, we invite you to rise at this time. If you're in the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days, we invite you to rise at this time. If you are in the period of Shana, we invite you to rise at this time. Or if you are observing a yard site this Shabbat, we invite you to rise at this time. Zichronam livracha. May their memories ever be for a blessing. We rise together and join in the eternal words of Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba, be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chai chon v'yom echon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'galav v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam lamei almaya, yibarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kudusha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushvechata v'nechemata, ta'miran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
We will conclude with one last song of joy, a song of peace, Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Yalla la 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 la. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen.
Shabbat shalom and mazel tov, Emma.
שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, פסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, פסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, בכל העמים לכבודו, כי גדול אדוני ובכל המאוד, נורא הוא הכל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, פסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. כי כל אלוהי העמים אלילי, אדוני שמיים עשה, הוד והדר לפניו, עוז ותפארת למקדשו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, פסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירם הים ומלואו, יעלו שדי וילכו לשמו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, פסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, פסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, פסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, פסרו מיום ליום ישועתו.
Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Ki Ata Hu Melech Adon Adon Lechol Hashalom V'tov b'necha levarech. Hava, hava nashira, shir hallelujah, shir hallelujah. 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 nashira, shir hallelujah. Hava, hava nashira, shir hallelujah, shir hallelujah. Hava, hava nashira, shir hallelujah, shir hallelujah.
Shabbat Shalom. It is so wonderful to be here on this beautiful, beautiful day. I took a walk through the park to get here, and there was just such a sense of spring and joy and optimism in the air, and we are adding to that joy with our celebration of Nate Schulman's bar mitzvah. And so we're going to ask Nate just to stand for 1 second and just give a little wave to everyone who's here and everyone who we know is watching us. Yeah, there he is. Everyone who we know is watching us on the live stream on Facebook. I know we have friends from our 180th trip to Israel, people that you have known since you were in the nursery school at Central Synagogue, and friends from LCLJ, as well as family watching with you from all over the place. And it's especially wonderful to be in the sanctuary with Nate's family and friends, some of whom are actually also our LCLJ students. And this is, for me, the first time I've gotten to be in the sanctuary with all of you. So it truly is a joyful day. My name is Rabbi Rebecca Rosenthal, and I'm joined here on our bima by our senior cantor, Dan Mutlu, as well as our incredible musicians led by Dave Strickland. And I want to give an extra special shout out to our Ops and AV team who enable us to beam this service to you and really enable us to be together on this Shabbat and feel all of the joy coming at us both from the room and from the screen. And so if you are praying with us today, I invite you to sing along, to stand, if you are able, to sit, to hum, to say lai la lai if you can, and really help us make this a joyful Shabbat morning service. We are going to begin our service with the call to worship, the Baruchu, on page 108 in your Siddur. If you will please rise in body or in spirit.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach Baruch Adonai hamevorach Le'olam va'ed hamevorach Le'olam va'ed.
We will continue now on page 114 with this blessing right before Shema. Baruch Ata Adonai Habocher B'amo Yisrael Be'ahava Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam va'ed. And you may be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'ham v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvelechtecha v'derech uv'shochvecha uv'kumecha ug'shartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beineinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'isharecha
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We sing now our Song of Freedom, Micha Mocha, page 122.
Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai Micha Mocha Neda B'Kodesh Norah Tehilot Osei Feleh Norah Tehilot Osei Feleh Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai Micha Mocha Neda B'Kodesh Norah Tehilot Osei Feleh Norah Tehilot Osei
We are now entering our tefillah, our moment for silent prayer. And sometimes the question is, what should I do during this silent prayer time? And I know that coming into this space, whether in person or virtually, we are holding a lot, so much joy, so many blessings, really overflowing gratitude, as well as pain or sadness or fear, especially given what's going on in Israel and the world. And so our silent prayer time is really a time for you to just express whatever is in your heart, to say whatever words you need in this moment. So if you are able, we invite you to please rise on page 124 for Adonai Sfatai.
Adonai Sfatai tiftach Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. לרצונים רפים רפים והגיון ליבי לפניך יהיו לרצונים רפים רפים והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי יהיו לרצונים רפים רפים והגיון ליבי לפניך יהיו לרצונים רפים רפים והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי.
So I'm going to now invite Nate and his mom up to the bima, and they are going to introduce the Torah service for us, and then we will also get a chance to hear Nate read and teach us from this Torah.
The light of Torah shines forth from Zion. Adonai's teachings flow from Jerusalem. This scroll has nurtured our people from Sinai to today. It teaches us love and justice, hope and peace.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadlul Adonai iti, Uneromema Shemo Yachdav.
I'm now going to invite Nate's grandparents to join at the bima, 3 generations of his family. It is truly a miracle that you, Nate, are standing on this bima in this moment, because if even one of your ancestors had broken this chain of tradition, you would not be here. And so what we are doing now is a symbolic passing of an object that has a lot of meaning to your family. And when you take hold of that object, just as you are taking hold of Torah, you're not only committing to continuing your Torah studies through confirmation and into adulthood, but you are also committing to passing this down to the next generation, just as your mom did for you and her parents did for her and their parents did for them, all the way back to Mount Sinai when we received the Torah on Shavuot many, many years ago. So I'm going to turn it over now to your mom, who's going to say a few words.
Okay. Hopefully in 2 minutes, and hopefully I won't cry. So, Nathaniel, when we received your bar mitzvah date so many years ago, we envisioned a fun and festive celebration with many joining from near and far. So much has changed in the last 15 months, but I'm so grateful that we can be here in this synagogue and that we joined when you were just a toddler with Rabbi Rosenthal here on the bima with us. We are up in the first row, too, just like you like it, even though there's no challah for you to grab after services. Today will be perfect in all its imperfections. I am grateful that Mimi and Pop-Up and some of our extended family, Uncle Lawrence Aunt Stacy, cousins Matt, and Jenny could all be vaccinated and be here with us in person. And we are so grateful for the technology to have Uncle Michael and Jake and our extended family, friends, and fellow congregants share in this event virtually. But most of all, I am grateful for you and the person you are becoming. Nathaniel, in Hebrew, your name means gift from God. Stop. You are my gift from God. You are curious, funny, competitive, and strong-willed. You are stubborn in your own view of right and wrong. You are very much a tween, for I have seen glimpses of your toddler self and glimpses of who you will be as an amazing grown-up, all in the same hour. You have such focus, you can play a 2-hour chess game, and I've seen you, the smallest one, lead in triumph on your flag football team, all while maintaining a steadfast devotion to the New England Patriots among a sea of Giants and Jets fans. In addition to your love of football, your love of reading 800-page books astounds me and pleases me, and your passion for knowledge and learning helps define who you are to everyone who knows you. These are traits that will carry you to success in the future as you continue into adulthood. It has been a year unlike any we could have imagined, but the silver lining of COVID is that I got to spend lots of time with you, whether you would have liked it or not, as an emerging teen. Traditionally at the bar mitzvah, we physically pass the Torah from generation to generation, but because of COVID, we were unable to do that until this week. In its place, we were tasked to pass down something from the family that would represent passing the Torah from generation to generation. We chose a pocket watch. I say we because the item we chose belongs to your Uncle Lawrence. It is your great-grandfather Nathan Engelman's pocket watch. Nathan was my grandfather, Mimi's dad, who you are named after. And Uncle Lawrence inherited the watch after our grandfather passed, as Uncle Lawrence was the oldest grandson. Grandpa Nat was of an exceptional character, and he was very much loved. He helped raise Mimi to become the special person she is for you today. So from Nat to Mimi to Uncle Lawrence to you, we pass on a piece of your heritage. Of course, all of your family is proud of how you have practiced and how you will read Torah today. But that's not nearly as important as the fact that we are incredibly proud of the young man you are becoming. As your mother, I could not be more proud of you than I am today.
Beautiful. So we'll give you a minute for hugging, and then we will ask Nate to call his first aliyah, and he will read to us from this Torah that has been passed down through so many generations of his family.
From Pershat Bidmibar from the book of Numbers, chapter 3, verses 1 through 10. For my first aliyah, I call upon my grandma and grandpa, Elaine and Ira.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach leolam vaed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher b'habanu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ve'ele toldot Aharon u'Moshe beyom diber Adonai et Moshe behar Sinai. Ve'ele shemot bnei Aharon habakur nadav va'avihu Elazar ve'itamar. Ele shemot bnei Aharon akohanim hameshukim asher milei nadam lekahen. vayamot Nadav va'avihu lifnei Adonai v'hakrivam Eish zera lifnei Adonai b'midbar Sinai uvanim lo hayu lahem vaykarhen Elazar ve'itamar al panei Aharon avihem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chei olam nata b'tohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
For my second aliyah, I call upon my mom, Sue-Ann, my aunt, Stacy, my uncle, Lawrence.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai al Moshe lemor hakrev et matei Levi v'hamata oto lifnei Aharon Kohen b'asher tu oto v'shamru
Vishamru et mishmarto.
Start from the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Start from the beginning. No, the second one.
Okay.
Start from, yeah. Go ahead.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai al Moshe lemor hakrev et matei Levi v'hamata oto lifnei Aharon Kohen b'asher tu oto v'shamru et mishmarto v'et mishmeret kol ha'anedam lifnei Ohel Moed, La'avod, et avodat HaMishkan.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tuhenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Beautifully done, Nate. And we're going to ask your aunt and uncle to take a seat, and your mom can take a seat at this point because this aliyah is yours, and they'll get front row seats to see you becoming a bar mitzvah in real time, which is really, really incredible and special. And when we think of your name, Natanel, a gift from God, a gift of God's, we think of you, of course, and we also think about the Torah that's in front of you. The Torah is a gift from God as well, and it's a gift that has been cherished and protected and passed down from generation to generation, and now it's in your hands. This gift you have chanted beautifully from, and in a moment you're going to teach us from this gift. You're going to teach us some Torah, and it fills us with incredible pride, incredible joy to see you taking this gift, to take this Torah, and to be the hope of the next generation to come. So we're going to call you up now by your Hebrew name as a bar mitzvah for the very first time. Ya'amod, 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 ha-bar mitzvah, Nachum Yaakov ben Sarachaya. And you can chant the blessing before.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bakar banu mikol ha'amim ve'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vishameru et kol klei ohel moed v'et mishmeret b'nei Israel la'avod et avodat hamishkan ben atata et halavim le'aharon kulavanan netunim hema lo meyan b'nei Israel v'et aharon v'et banav tifkot Veshameru et kunatam lehazar hakarein yumat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam nata bektohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Blessing first, right? Hold on, I need to get The Haftarah for this week is taken from the book of Hosea. I will be reading from chapter 2, verses 18 through 19. Blessing before the Haftarah. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bakar b'nvi'im tovim v'retzav v'dibraham hame'en arim b'met. Baruch atah Adonai habuher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo yuvin Israel amo yuvin v'yei ha'emet v'asedek.
Amen.
V'haya vayom hahu nemud Adonai tikreiv ishiv below tikreili od be'ali v'hasiroti et shemot ha-be'ali mipiha velo yaseru od mishma.
Mazel tov. Nate, stay there. Just stay there. You are now going to get a chance to teach our community to read some words of Torah that I know you have been working very, very hard on. And so we look forward to the chance for you to be our teacher. Feel free to take a water break. That's fine.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. In my Torah portion, God commands Moses, Aaron, and Aaron's sons to create a census to count all the people fit for serving in the military, along with instructions to protect the tabernacle and write about their adventures along the way. During the discussion of the census, the Torah retells the story of the death of Aaron's sons, Nadav and Avihu, who were struck down by God for bringing alien fire to the altar. Perhaps retelling there is an important history lesson, or perhaps there is something we could learn from it. While the story of the census and the counting of the tribes is important, I am more interested in alien fire and the devastation that Aaron's sons brought upon themselves. The thoughts I have today about my Torah portion are, what did Nadav and Avihu do wrong? What was so bad about the fire Nadav and Avihu brought to God? I have 3 theories. Theory 1, the fire had some sort of accelerants like alcohol or gasoline, which was dangerous. My second theory is that alien fire is some sort of magic, still unknown to man today. My third and final theory is that there was nothing wrong with the fire, but God did not ask for the offering. Let's give Nadav and Avihu the benefit of the doubt and reject theory 1. We would do this because they are priests and good, caring people. They are not the type of people to add an accelerant to a fire. Therefore, theory 1 is unlikely. Theory 2, we may never know the answer. It is probably not the aliens that you might think of when you hear alien fire. Theory 3 is they believe that they were doing the right thing, although they did it in the wrong way, and God punished them because they set a bad example for others. The rabbis also have this theory and say that although Nadav and Avihu want to do the right thing in bringing a sacrifice to God, they somehow get it wrong and they are punished because they are supposed to be priests and leaders following the rules. We learned that you need to hold people responsible, especially leaders. Nadav and Avihu getting killed for bringing the wrong fire is pretty extreme, but we can still learn from their examples. Oftentimes in our world, people who are leaders get away with doing things that they should not, although I believe that they should be held to a higher standard. This is because they set an example for the people that they lead. If they get away with a crime, then citizens try to get away with it too. A modern example of this is, although former President Trump did not storm the Capitol building himself, he used his rally to motivate people to storm the building. He motivated the people that storming the Capitol building was the right thing to do. President Trump should be held more accountable. This is because he is a leader. Some people look up to him. He should be a good role model in both his actions and his words. Although I'm not suggesting leaders be put to death for doing the wrong thing, one thing this Torah portion teaches us is that leaders need to be role models to the community. Hopefully, my generation will produce leaders who will learn these lessons. The end.
All right, so you're going to stay there. I'm going to invite your mom to join you back up at the bima. It is really such an honor for me to be standing here with you today and to be here for your bar mitzvah, having gotten to know you as a second grader and then through all of the years that we have been at Central together. I knew that you were going to come at this with everything you had and with your whole heart. And I was not disappointed when you sent me your first paragraph of your Dvar Torah and it was all about aliens because of the alien fire. And I knew it was going to be something like that because you are the kind of person who says what's on your mind, who always finds something fun and maybe a little bit funny in a serious matter. And you are the kind of person who just belongs up here. I don't know, it is a little disconcerting to look at yourself on the screen, but if you got a chance, you could see really that this is a place that you're comfortable. When you started here at Central in nursery school, I know that they brought you here to see the sanctuary and look at all the different parts. During LCLJ, you would come up here at the end of Friday night services to rip the challah. And now you're standing up here as a bar mitzvah, and I am very confident that this will not be the last time. I hope you know how proud we are of you and how blessed we are that you and your mom came into the Central Synagogue community. It was really a wonderful day for us that we got the whole Shulman family here at Central and all of the people that you have brought us since with your Central evangelizing. And so I just want to say that this is an incredible milestone moment, but it is only the first, or it is only one in a long chain of incredible milestone moments that we will be blessed to share with you over your time here at Central. And we look forward to learning a lot more Torah from you, a lot more about sports, a lot more about aliens, a lot more about any of the things that interest you and that you want to bring to us. Because one thing that we know is that if there is something on your mind, you will tell it to us. And that is a wonderful quality. And so we want to wish you a huge mazel tov and ask everyone here, if you are able to stand, to join us in singing Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov.
Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov. Yehelanu, 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 Olechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Olechol Yisrael. ישראל. יהי לנו ולכל ישראל.
I'm going to ask everyone to remain standing. Sue Ann, you can go have a seat, and I'm going to ask Nathaniel to join me at the ark, please. Okay.
Taking your place in a resilient life. This is the day that you stood up to say, our tradition is mine. You have now held the Torah, forged a link to the past. You're the face of our future and the reason we last. ללכת בדרכיו ולשמור מצוותיו כל העמים. May you walk in God's ways and may all of your days be blessings. It is said we stood at Sinai and today you know you're there. You're the promise of a people, a blessing and a prayer. It is said we stood at Sinai, and today you know you're there. You're the promise of a people, a blessing and a prayer. You're the promise of a people, a blessing and a prayer.
As we do in every service, we take a moment for memory to remember those who are no longer with us. Today we are especially thinking of Nate's great-grandparents, Nathan and Molly Engelman, Nathan who Nathaniel was named for. Also in the Central community, we think about those who have passed in recent days. Iris Gare, mother of Lawrence Rosenblum, Dan Goldman, husband of Fran, father of Seth, Jacqueline, and Jill Stitzer, Elisa Epstein, mother of Deborah, Janice Furse, wife of John Friedman, mother of Elizabeth and Meredith, Edna Gamzin, mother of Marilyn Ostro, Alex Hochberg, grandson of Barbara, Chaim David Kirsch, brother-in-law of Nan Rubenstein, Dan Levine, husband of Fanny, father of Bettina, Talia, Ruth, and Alexandra, Alan Michael Levy, husband of Beula, father of Larry, Nicole, Danielle, and Anton, Dorothy Norris, mother of Ronald, Kenneth, Daniel, Paul, and Edward, Leon Polin, father of Sherry Aronson, Susan Silverman, mother of Robin and Debbie, Herbert Strauss, brother of Joyce Koplick, Shirley Werther, mother of Daniel and Susan, and Lila Zuckerman, mother of Laura Rothschild. If you are in a mourning period, in the period of Shiva, the first 7 days, or Shloshim, the first 30 days, or the first year, we invite you please to rise if you are able. If you are observing a yahrzeit today of a loved one, the anniversary of a death, we invite you to rise. And we invite the whole community to rise if you are able to join us in the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach yurtei v'yamlich malchutei, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
We'll conclude now with this last song of joy and peace. Wishing you a mazel tov, Nate, and to your whole family for a beautiful morning.
Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
Wishing all of you a Shabbat Shalom, the whole world a Shabbat of peace, and a special Mazel Tov to Nate and to Suran and to all of your family. Mazel Tov and Shabbat Shalom.